points are gained or points are lost, there will be much to discuss. For analysis regarding tonight's Winnipeg Jets game, here are Dave Manouk, Ezra Ginsburg, and your host, Drew Mandel. The Illegal Curve post-game show starts now.
I've never been a smoker, folks. I've never, been a regular smoker. I don't think I've ever bought a pack of cigarettes in my life. Not to say I've never smoked a cigarette once or twice. It's happened. But I totally understand if after that game you feel the need to light one up just to calm things down a little bit. Because holy moly, the last game, game 82 of the regular season, was 90s night. That was the theme night at the arena. I had no idea that game one of the Stanley Cup playoffs between the Jets and the Avs was going to be 80s night. But the 1980s called and they said, we want our hockey game back. 7-6, the Winnipeg Jets defeat the Colorado Avalanche in what was an epic contest that certainly will cause gray hairs on both coaches, and neither team will be particularly pleased with how the game went. But the Winnipeg Jets, after it's all said and done, have the victory in the column, and they lead the series 1-0 after the 7-6 victory. I'm your host, Drew Mandel. Dave Manouk, live at Canada Life Center. This is the Illegal Curve post-game show. Welcome, everybody, to what was just an epic contest, Dave, between the Jets and the Avs.
First of all, I didn't pick the three. I almost picked the 3 stars, actually. I opened my big mouth and said to one of the Jets communication guys saying something about, well, at least I don't have to pick 3 stars. He goes, actually, nobody's picking them. You're up. But thankfully, then it turned out that somebody else was picking them. But if I was picking them, and I don't want to be cliche, but I'm going to be a little bit, Jets fans were awesome. Jets fans were amazing. To be in this building, I mean, look, I'm not going to say that you take anything for granted. I love what we do, and I love being able to come to these hockey games, Jets and Moose, and cover them and see 70, 80 games a year in the regular season and playoff games. The atmosphere in here tonight was incredible, and the Jets fans were having a lot of fun. As you said, Drew, the coaching staff was having heart palpitations.
I was having heart palpitations.
7-6 is not a score, not a goalie clinic, as I put it, with our Twitter, but look, it was a lot of fun. The environment was fantastic. The fans were into it from before puck drop. I didn't really see a lot of the whiteout, obviously, because I sprinted over here after our pregame show. So hopefully folks like the first ever Illegal Curve pregame show. If
we'll do it again on
smash
Tuesday.
That like button. Yeah. But I got to tell you, this was a fun environment. And so, we're trying to just give an assessment as to what we saw, but you can't help but feel the infectiousness that the fans were able to bring through their cheers and like their cheers tonight.
Pull your goalie was an epic one. I mean, I think there was 6-3 at that point in time when that cheer came down. Maybe it was 7-4 at that point. But pull your goalie, chanting that at the Avalanche because how bad Alexander Georgiev was in tonight's game is pretty vicious and pretty brutal by the Jets fans. Full marks to them for that one. That was pretty funny. I mean, when Pat McAfee, who of course is now one of the biggest names in sports journalism and sports broadcasting, when he's tweeting about how crazy the barn in Winnipeg was, his tweet, I'm looking at it, this barn in Winnipeg is all caps bananas. That tells you that the fans really did bring it tonight at Canada Life Center. And they surely were entertained. There's not one person in that arena who's saying tonight that they didn't get their money's worth, because what Absolutely a contest it was between the Jets and the Avalanche. 13 goals total scored in tonight's game. Here's one courtesy of Eric Hornick. Eric is a good friend of Illegal Curve. He's the statistician on the New York Islanders broadcast. The Avs loss tonight ends a stretch of 200 consecutive games, regular season and playoffs, that they have scored at least 6 goals and didn't and lost in regulation. So this is the first time in 200 consecutive games that the Avs have scored 6 goals and lost in regulation. The last time it happened was December 3rd, 1995 versus Dallas. The franchise was 30-0 all time in the playoffs when scoring 6+ goals. I mean, look, this is not a picture perfect game by any stretch of the imagination. This is entertaining hockey when everything else is thrown out and it's just chaos on the ice. And the Jets get just enough goaltending from Connor Hellebuyck, and the Avs get absolutely no goaltending at all from Alexander Georgiev.
So we're going to see our old friend Arvid Holm, the 2017 sixth-rounder, who was backing up Georgiev tonight.
Well, so Justus Annunen, who you would have thought would have come into the game at some point in time, was sick. He wasn't on the Avs lineup, which I really didn't realize until the game had already begun. And then
I don't think anybody realized it.
No,
in fact, to be honest with you, Drew, not only did nobody realize it, the Avs tweet with the lineup, still had Annunen still in their lineup. So when I heard that Arvid Holm, the old friend who we used to cover here when we watched Moose games, had gotten into the line or was going to be backing up, I jokingly said, because it was a year ago next week, one week short of a year that Arvid Holm played his last game here in Winnipeg. So signed obviously a deal with the Colorado Avalanche and was backing up a playoff game.
Yeah, so just a wild game all around. And we're going to get into the nitty-gritty details of it. We're also going to bring you the media availabilities as those get underway. We can see them sort of beginning to congregate backstage. We're going to bring you all the media
explain the format to folks just so they know. Right.
So it's a different format than we're used to. So the players are at a podium. They're not in the dressing room. In the Matt Frost, but they are brought out sort of press conference style. So you will be able to hear from the select Jets players in addition to Jets head coach Rick Bowness throughout the course of this Illegal Curve post-game show on what has been a wild Sunday. I mean, you talked about the
NHL just reached out to me. I thought I was in trouble.
Oh, okay. I hope
but they liked my tweet about the fan who gave the puck to the little kid. So.
Oh, okay. Well, as long as the NHL reached out to you for good things as opposed to bad,
they wanted to give some IC promotion, so I was happy to let them do it.
Yeah, absolutely. They can take our tweet and use it as they wish in this instance. But look, the Jets they get the 1-0 lead in the series, and that's what matters most of all. But there's so much that Rick Bowness is going to be able to take back to the drawing board, because this wasn't the Winnipeg Jets at their best. This is a Winnipeg Jets team that gets away with a victory despite getting outshot 46-23. And Colorado controlled the bulk of the play in this game. So let's just be perfectly blunt and perfectly frank, folks. This Jets team is thrilled to lead 1-0. They're thrilled to win the game 7-6, but they also know that this is not sustainable for success moving forward in the playoffs. Let's go into the Matt Frost Media Center.
Well, when you score 6 in a game, especially against a goaltender like Hellebuyck, there's obviously a lot of positive things to be happy with. But how do you balance kind of the group's frustration with outcome, also, learning from this one?
Well, I mean, we played hard. We played extremely hard. We did a lot of good things. You don't get sick on the Jets without doing that, like you mentioned. We also made some mistakes that they capitalized on, too many, obviously, tonight, and it ends up costing us the hockey game. I think there's lots to look at that is on the positive side. We'll have to be better in a couple areas of the game, but I don't think there's a need for frustration at all after that. Shouldn't be frustrated at all. I think we played hard. We played well in a lot of areas. We have to clean up a couple things. Hey, this is going to be a long, hard series, and frustration shouldn't be creeping into it after losing one game on the road.
Go ahead, right here in front. Jacob Dahl, News. I would like to know your thoughts on Georgiev's performance tonight.
It probably need to be better, right? I thought we played well. We created some chances. He made some good saves, but we're going to need like a couple more saves than that probably to win, So, but it is what it is. We'll regroup. It wasn't like we made some mistakes in front of him that we'll have to clean up and try to get done. Team game.
Jesse.
Coach, the overall attitude in the locker room is very similar to what you're saying. A lot of good things to build on. The mistakes that were made, are they stuff that you kind of feel positive about? They're not the same mistakes over and over,
Yeah, listen, you got to win battles, you got to win races, you got to be highly competitive, you got to do the right thing structurally. What we did. You look at the goals, quickly, goal one, good coverage, shot, has eyes, makes it all the way to the net and goes in. Goal 2, we turn it over, right? Can't throw it into the middle of the ice. They make a nice play and get a stick on it, but safer play is probably around the boards on that one. Goal 3, it's a hard forecheck. We're in good coverage. We lose the seal out net front. They bang it in, right? So it's not from lack of effort, lack of positioning, mental errors. Like the turnover would be a mental error, but they capitalize on those chances. So we have to try and give them less. And it's just that simple.
Megan.
26 comeback wins in the regular season points to a lack of panic in this group, and there's elements of that tonight. What do you attribute to that lack of panic, and how can you leverage that, especially in the face of so many key players?
Listen, it's about belief, and it's about like not giving up on what you've worked so hard for. That's the reality, right? Like if you're gonna work for something and put everything you got into it for 8 months, and you have belief in your team that you can come back in any situation, then you keep playing as hard as you possibly can and pushing for that to happen. And sometimes it happens. Tonight it didn't, but I think it's just, being strong mentally, being resilient, and believing in what you're doing. And regardless of success or failure, like our message, you go put your best foot forward and play every shift like it's your last. I mean, it's the best time of the year to be playing hockey in the Stanley Cup playoffs and in the best league in the world. And you gotta embrace it, and you gotta put everything you have into it if you want to win.
Front right.
Yes, Coach. I'm wondering with the outburst of offense by both teams, what's going through your mind? When the goals are coming fast and furious, did you throw your game out of the, out into like,
yeah,
like,
no,
what do you do?
we didn't. Like it's like we have a identity that we want to play to, and I thought the guys played to it tonight. And like throwing your game plan out the window is something that just fragments our team. Like we have to stick to our plan and the way we want to play. Doesn't mean we don't try and make adjustments here or there on things that we see or things that we pick up, but it's pretty clear you're playing a hockey game as a team, as a coach, that when you're doing things that you talk about all year long and you're playing ahead of the other team's structure, the good things will happen for you. And if you start sort of breaking off on your own page, it usually leads to disaster. So just because goals are coming quicker and more frequently both teams, it's not something that we just want to continue to stick to our process throughout the course of the night and then make adjustments and start again fresh the next day.
Katie and then Corey.
Well, coming into this, Jonathan Drouin's absence was a big miss in the top 6. Felt like the team really did a good job with shifting upwards, adjusting to that. Power play also features him. So what did you like about the way the team kind of responded to the changes without him?
Yeah, I mean, I liked it because the power play, I mean, as you know, Becky and Val spend a lot of time in there. We've had some fluidity to that power. I know Drew's a part of it for most of the year and a real important part of it. But those guys have been with us and have played in those positions for years, not just like weeks or months this season. So they're perfectly capable of continuing to do that. It takes a potent offensive player out of your lineup, so everyone else has to step up. I thought Parise did a nice job on the top line. That was still a really good line. The Middlestead line was also a good line offensively. The group that really kind of turned it up from an offensive standpoint for me was the Colton, Wood, and Kiviranta did a nice job. Like they were highly effective in a lot of different areas of the game, not just on the defensive side or on the physicality side, but like offensively, that was a dangerous group, which really helps. I mean, you have to have the depth scoring and the contributions throughout your lineup, and everyone has their own sort of specific role and identity, both as individuals and lines. But as a group tonight, like we didn't miss Drew's offense because everyone else was like significantly better than just average game in the regular season.
Last couple ones, Corey.
Do you feel like maybe even going back to the last couple of games of the regular season and then some of the early goals, some of the mistakes that turn into goals, do you feel like your team, gets tense or has issues with just to play away because maybe they're worried about the mistakes going in the back of the net?
Well, I thought our start was great tonight. I did. I know we get a lead and then it's like it's gone. But like I just felt like we were pretty steady in our approach tonight. I think like you get the feeling on the bench, is frustration sitting in? Is it do you believe in what you're doing? Like I think we proved a lot to ourselves tonight in that locker room. We haven't played the Jets well this year. We played them a good game at home early in the season, but like that's our first taste of us playing hard and them playing hard and seeing what's going to happen, And it's a 7-game series, so I don't think that a whole lot changed for us, like from start to finish in that game. I thought the guys played as hard as they possibly could and as clean as they possibly could.
Kyle, we were told Justus Annunen was unavailable with illness tonight.
Yeah.
Do you expect him to be healthy enough to play in the next game, and what will go into your decision on starts?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if he's going to be healthy enough to play or not. Wasn't healthy enough to play tonight. We'll see what we see in the morning, and then, I'm not thinking about anything else. We got to have him available if he's going to play.
Last one. Yeah. If so, would you consider a goaltending change?
I'm not going to speculate.
Okay, thank you, Jared.
Yep, thanks.
There he goes. That's Colorado Avalanche head coach Jared Bednar addressing the media after tonight's.
You didn't want to return me to the chat there, Drew?
Yeah, sorry. Well, you could press the button yourself just as
I was
easily.
talking to our right fielder, Jay Glass, was here. So he was standing on the catwalk. Thankfully, I'm in the ancillary press box right now. Had to find some space, a little bit quiet. Yeah. But so I was talking to Jay, who's walking the catwalk right now.
Okay, fair enough. So 7-6, the Jets win. That was Jared Bednar really praising his team's performance more than anything else. Not so much the goaltending, but at the same time, he wasn't in a position to throw Alexander Georgiev, completely out, because they are probably still going to rely on him. We don't know the status of Justus Annunen. And of course, he's also a rookie. So let's be honest. That's what you're dealing with when you're talking about the Avs goaltender, the backup goaltender to Alexander Georgiev. He's a rookie. I see that Kyle Connor is getting ready to sit down at the podium as well. And I think, who's that with? I think he's with Adam Lowry as well. I can't tell exactly. I'm sort of just looking backstage as soon as that gets started.
Let's bring him in.
There we go. We bring him in.
Looking at the replay now, I'm like, why was I stomped? Going back to the bench, they seem to think it was pretty conclusive, pretty solid right away. So you never know, though. It's a little tense waiting for the confirmation, but it was nice that it just got enough.
Kyle, how would you miss the game overall for your group?
Yeah, I mean, we got the win. It's maybe not the way we drew it up, 7-6 game, but sometimes you just play that game that's in front of you. It kind of turned into a bit of a track meet there. We know we got better. Maybe a little nervous energy start for us. And I think we, once we start getting going, we can show that, obviously our depth is really key. I think all lines contributed, and we just kept rolling them over. Created a lot off the forecheck as well. Pressuring their D, turning the puck over. So just a little more of that for sure.
I was wondering if it was nerve or that if their speed and talent is that hard to contain.
I think they had a great game plan off the start. Not that we did it, but I think they executed it a little. They just played it simple, got it in, and could have been. Can't speak for everybody in the room, but we're a pretty veteran team, and I think we were able to, no matter what got thrown at us tonight, we were able to sit back and focus on that next shift.
Adam, your thoughts just on the style of game and how much it has to change, if at all, for you guys?
Well, I don't think Bowness is going to be preaching 7-6. So, I think they had a great start. Maybe a little nervous energy. We were excited getting the white out and having home ice and getting to play in front of our fans. I think just moving the puck, we didn't get the puck through the neutral zone early. Hellebuyck had to make some big saves. We were able to settle in. I think it's just, we gave them some easy offense early, and then, we'll have to adjust on the kill 6-on-5, things like that. But, I think we got to do a better job just staying on top of speed. They come through the neutral zone so well. They have an active back end, and they generate a lot there. So, just F3 got caught a few times. Pucks inside the blue line, ours and theirs. It gave them some of those chances that a little uncharacteristic for our group. So it's a great team over there. They scored a lot of goals. We know they've got great offensive talent. So we're with the result. I think both teams still have areas that they'll want to clean up, though.
Adam, this is a night where the final stats probably don't look great for him, but is this a night where the value of a Connor Hellebuyck certainly shines, especially maybe early in that game when the shot clock was pretty lopsided?
Yeah, I actually was talking to Eric about that. I think, his stats aren't going to jump out at you, but Bones always says timely saves, and the goalies are like, "Oh, save's a save." But I think the start, especially early on, they're shooting us 10-11-1. He makes some saves, but he swallows up some pucks where he's allows us to catch our breath. I think he gives up 6, two are on the power play, one's with the net empty, so it kind of skews his stat line a little bit. But he's been our MVP. He should get consideration for the Hart. He's had such an amazing year. He's so important for our team. So another solid game for Helly. So no concerns there.
I just wanted to ask you about you did see a lot of Nathan McKinnon's line. How did you think your line did in terms of keeping those guys in check and obviously chipping in some offense of your own?
The offense was nice. I think anytime you can get some against those guys, it's gravy. It's what we gave up. I think we spent a lot of time on our end. We get some up the rush. I think I look back at that first shift in the third period where he rings one off the post. They get some chances like it. So with that being, I think we want to spend a little more time in their zone. Wear them down on the cycle. I think there's going to be some tweaks, and maybe at some times in the game we were a little tentative. We were trying to be so cautious that we were over top that we were late on the forecheck, and anytime you're late on the forecheck, you allow some easy outlet passes, and that's where their speed can really hurt you. So just some quicker read. I think it kind of is where our line will look to be a little better in game 2.
Kyle and Adam's second goal, where it goes one post, the other post. Where were you? Were you on the bench at that moment? And how much time in your life passed as that puck was going back and forth?
How much time in my life?
Some real philosophical questions
for
game 1.
Really, our video guy had it up right away, and it was pretty quick. We all started celebrating pretty quick, and that's probably when Adam saw the bench get all excited, and we knew right away. You can see you guys saw the look, the sliver of the puck kind of turns on its side. And you don't see that very often, going post to post and puck turning like that. So a bit of a fortunate bounce, but we'll take them.
Yeah. And Adam, obviously you've seen Kyle score so many goals in the NHL, but that super heavy play takes the puck away from the defenseman to kickstart. I think it was Lowry to Schiefele for the goal, if I remember this right. But taking the puck away on the forecheck, obviously.
That was in the first, right?
Yeah,
that was like 13 goals ago. I think that's an underrated part of Casey's game. He's not the biggest guy. He's not going to run you over on the forecheck, but he does such a good job with his speed and his reads, getting into the guy's hands, turning it over, kind of moving the puck, allowing the next guy to make that play. So, it was real heads-up play, real great play. I think, we talk about impacting plays on the forecheck. Everyone doesn't have to run through the defenseman. It's about disrupting, trying to create those turnovers, and he does a really good job at it. And the 2 goals, they were huge for us as well.
Kyle, I wonder if there's something that you can see or explain in Adam's game once the postseason arrives that would potentially explain the kind of results that he's been getting for a while now in the playoffs.
Yeah, I think the game speaks for itself, through the regular season. Just right away, 200-foot game, gets to the net. Smart player, you see it. That's why he's our captain. He leads by example, and he's a big voice in there. And some pretty good hands around the net. You guys saw that tonight, so translates very well. And we're lucky to have him.
And I guess just the last one, going into that game, everyone knows how dangerous their stars can be. I wonder what kind of pride you take in your stars, really having had, the elevation that they had in this game today.
Yeah, I mean, that's why you want to play the game. You want to play against the best and showcase, at the highest stage. Every one of us, I think we got a really deep team. Anybody can kind of contribute like that. It's part of the fun of it. We battle all season to get in this position, and you got to enjoy it. You got to relish the pressure that comes with it, and it's you want to be go through for your team and do it for yourself during these moments.
Thanks, guys.
There they go, Adam Lowry and Kyle Connor speaking after tonight's Jets victory. 1-0 the Jets lead in the series. 7-6 is the victory in the score tonight. Both players getting on the score sheet multiple times. Lowry getting 2 goals, and of course Kyle Connor getting 2 goals. So they were certainly the offensive catalyst for the Winnipeg Jets. No surprise there about Kyle Connor. More of a surprise about Adam Lowry, of course, but he, I thought, was just an absolute beast for the Winnipeg Jets in tonight's game. He was impactful. He was noticeable. And anytime he's chipping in offensively, in addition to all the little things that he does, in addition to all the intangibles and the work ethic and the defensive awareness, you know that it's an added bonus for the Winnipeg Jets as they get the victories, popping 7 behind Alexander Georgiev of the Colorado Avalanche. Rick Bowness will be up shortly. We'll bring him to you as well here on the Illegal Curve post-game show. Drew Mindell, Dave Manouk with you on this Sunday evening. Jets 7-6 victors over the Avs, Dave.
Yeah, Drew. I mean, we're going to have all the media availabilities.
Yeah.
Coach of the Avs, coach the Jets players. Now we're going to have Rick Bowness speaking. And we've got 13 goals to dissect. So
we're going to be settle in, folks, is what we're saying. We're going to be here for a while.
Oh, here comes Rick Bowness.
Okay,
here we go. We'll give it 2 seconds because the guys are still putting their mics down. But okay, here we go.
Rick, in the back here, your players, up here said they doubt you'll be preaching to continue on with the 7-6 games in the series. I think we know that. But I wonder for you, in a game that turned into the track meet, you didn't want it to, the fact that your team was able to pull through and win it with the elevation from the Stars that you did. What do you take away from it?
Listen, we'll never complain about a win, especially this time of year. So we're very happy to get that win, and understanding that there's areas that we're going to be better, and we will. There's things we're going to clean up. It wasn't exactly how we drew it up, but if that's the way it goes, that's the way it goes. Our top guys, their top guys took over. Our top guys took over. It wasn't. It was just the type of game that it evolved into, and then you play it out, and we found a way to get the win, so we'll take it.
The things you're talking about cleaning up, is it like a long laundry list, or is it just maybe a couple themes that need some tweaking?
It's a couple of specific things we can clean up, and there's we'll just need some better performances too. So those things will be addressed. We'll clean it up. We'll be better on the next game. We'll be better Tuesday.
Sorry, just one more. Just Adam Lowry elevating you see from him. I know you get what you want from him the entire season, but he seems to take another level in the playoffs, especially in his offensive game. What do you see from him that allows him to do that?
Well, again, he's been a great leader for the team on and off the ice. So he was a great choice for captain. But again, he loves these challenges. He's going up against one of the players in the world, not necessarily the league, but the world, in Nate. So he loves those challenges, and he takes game to another level. The intensity is always there. It was certainly there tonight, and it's nice to see him get rewarded with a couple of goals because he worked incredibly hard. And that you're playing against the McKinnon line, you're going to have to work very, very hard, and you're going to have to be very, very smart, and Adam did those things.
Rick, the MO of a good hockey team is the ability to obviously win a lot of different ways and styles. Normally giving up picks being a recipe for disaster in the playoffs. So what does it say about your group that you can survive a game where you give up 6?
Yeah, we were really in tonight. We found a way. The goals we gave up in the first were a little too easy for them. We kind of gave them those goals, so but we also recognized it, and that's very, very important that we recognized, okay, that was on us. Let's clean these things up. We cleaned them up in the second period for the most part, and then they took it to another level, and we knew that was going to come, and we bent a little. We broke a couple of times, but again, give the guys credit. We found a way to win. A game wasn't structured. It wasn't played out the way it was supposed to be structured. Right. So find a way, and we'll take that every day.
And my second question is more about, you talked in the past about how you're a fan of watching great players and great hockey. You've been in this game a long time. Is there any part of a game like this where a little part of Rick Bowness is sitting back thinking, this is fun. This is crazy.
I didn't have time tonight.
Yeah.
there was too much going on at both ends. But listen, again, they've got some elite players over there, and they are fun to watch. I mean, but you can't get caught up in that, right? In these games, maybe in October, but not now. And it's on awareness. You know they're on the ice, and you want to make sure you've got the right guys on the ice with them. And as we mentioned, listen, McKinnon's line plays so much. One line's not going to do. So Mark's line was out there, some with them, and Sean's line was out there sometimes with them. And there's just certain things we're going to clean up.
When a game has a personality like this game had, like it was a wild one, right? It was a roller coaster. Is there anything you can do to nudge it towards a more calm, organized way, or do you have to just ride it out?
You got to ride it out sometimes. They're playing hard, and the puck's bouncing everywhere. You look at their sticks cold, it's going off sticks and shoulders, and there's things that we can't control. That happens, so you got to ride it out in those situations. There's other situations that it was self-inflicted problems that we can fix.
Like I said, you guys had a pretty clear video review of Adam's goal early, but when you watch it go off one post and then the other, I mean, what in the world's going through your mind in that moment?
Yeah, well, fortunately, we did get a quick review. Matt and James are in their room, and they got it up there quickly, and I looked down, and I see this puck rolling on its edge inside the line. Okay, it's in. Take it and run.
The things you want to clean up, mainly D zone or neutral or a little bit of everything?
No, it's all three zones, and puck management and all three zones. When they're carrying the puck in like we're tonight, then we're clearly off our game. And if you turn the puck over, your structure is going to break down like right away. So it's puck management, and it's just a little more about playing the right way at the right time.
Last one.
Despite giving up 6 goals, what influence do you think Connor Hellebuyck had on the outcome?
Huge. Huge. You're not tagging any of those goals on him. Some of them had seeing eyes. Some of them were bouncing all over the place. Some of them were just dead giveaways on our part. So you're not hanging any of those on him. That game could have been worse, right? Seriously, I mean, we don't give up that many chances. We don't give up that many shots, and Connor had to play a lot better, and he made a lot of big saves at the right time, which he always does. I'm not hanging any of those goals on him.
Rick, just how do you describe the effort from Alex Paulo tonight? Seemed like one of his best games of the year.
You saw him making a big block shot, and I was trying to get that line out there a little bit more because they had scored, but just the rotations and everything, we did get them out. And Alex plays the same way every night, and right wing, left wing, he just goes out and plays them as hard as he can. Thanks.
There he goes, Jets head coach Rick Bowness speaking to the assembled media at the Matt Frost Media Center. Big thanks to our photographer and videographer, Colby Spence, for getting us all of the post-game availabilities. We'll be glad to do that for the entirety of the postseason, at least for the home games, for the entirety of the postseason.
Yeah.
Of course,
well, maybe we'll send Colby to Colorado.
Yeah, if somebody wants to bankroll or travel to Colorado, just let us know.
No, Drew, we're not important. Colby is the important
Colby, we'll send Colby, or you can send us all to Colorado. You can bankroll us there. Send us an email, drew@illegalcurve.com. Slide into our DMs on Twitter/X. Jets 7-6 victors over the Colorado Avalanche.
Nice meeting you, AJ.
Great meeting AJ as well earlier today. It was just a wild and wacky game is what this was. It was not what the head coaches want. It's not what I'm expecting game 2 to be. I expect game 2 will be much more sedate. Not to say it won't be entertaining, but I think that both teams...
Famous last words, Drew.
Yeah, I know. Both teams, I think, will be much more focused on structure and playing the way that they want to play. Let's get into the recap of tonight's game, Dave M. There's 13 goals to go through, so there's plenty.
You ready? You sure about that? I mean,
I'm not
we could
sure.
talk some more. We could do a preamble.
No, we're 35 minutes into the post game, and I got
big
lots
crowd
of
in the house, Drew.
I know. Big crowd. We'll get into each and every goal as we go here on the Illegal Curve post-game show. Drew Mandel, Dave Manouk with you on this Sunday evening. The Avs, and I was surprised by this because I said this on the Illegal Curve pregame show a few hours ago, that I thought the Jets were going to come out as the house on fire. I thought the Jets were going to be the more energetic of the two teams to start, and I was completely wrong on that front. The Avs certainly were taking it to the Winnipeg Jets early on in tonight's contest. I believe the shots on goal at a point in the first period were 9-1, if I'm not mistaken.
It was interesting, Drew. It was 9-1.
Yeah.
Then it was 10-1. Then
Yeah.
it went back to 9-1.
Yeah.
And I think they scored on the 10th or 11th shot.
Right. So that is the first goal of the game coming at the 6:10 mark. Valeri Nichushkin getting his first of the playoff series, assist to Josh Manson. This is a wicked shot by Nichushkin. Going absolutely, just a clean shot that beats Connor Hellebuyck, but it's not a great line change by the Winnipeg Jets. And it's part and parcel with them not really they're on their heels to start the game. So they're going for a line change. It's not done well. The puck isn't in deep enough to execute the line change seamlessly. And the Avs and their transition game is just so dangerous. And they get the early goal to tie it up, to take the 1-0 lead, Dave.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a great time. I mean, of course, what does the coach always want you to do? Get that puck in deep and know that if you're going to head off on a line change, do it so you're going to be able to, not leave your goaltender stranded. And you got to give Nichushkin credit. I mean, it's a beautiful shot.
Beautiful shot.
But, I mean, it's just an unfortunate line change, and they get burnt by it. And, it was interesting, Drew, because you're curious as to how that would impact the crowd, because like I said, right from get-go, and again, like I said, I'm sure it still translates well on television, but
it did.
The crowd, you could just, like I said, it's such a next level of audible that and whether the meter, that measures that, whether how accurate that is, the fan meter or not, but ultimately, I mean, like I said, they welcomed the Jets fans. Obviously, we were still wrapping up from the pregame show, so I didn't get here till, maybe 10, 15 minutes before the puck actually dropped. But yeah, I mean, like I said, it kind of took the Jets play, and I'm with you. Like, after our pregame show, I really wasn't certain what team we were going to see, how the Avs were going to look, and how the Jets were going to look, right? And, at one point I looked over at some of our media colleagues, and I was like, 9-1, not what I would have anticipated in terms of shots. And the Avs had a few flurries there to kind of increase their totals. But yeah, I mean, they're out shooting the Jets 9-1. They take the 1-0 lead, like I said, on a somewhat unfortunate defensive play by, or you want to call it a bad line change, whatever you want to call it. But ultimately, they don't get the puck in deep. Manson recognizes that, gets it up to Nichushkin, and suddenly you've got a 1-0 deficit, and you're wondering, what will the response be?
Yeah, and the response for the Jets was a good one, and they're to their benefit. Now, a lot of the Jets' success, let's not sugarcoat things, was because of the poor goaltending by the Colorado Avalanche goaltender in Alexander Georgiev. Full credit to the Jets for their goals, for getting the goals, but they also benefited from a weak goaltender. And that's what was part of the conversation, part of the narrative in the lead up to the series, in the preamble to this series, was the Jets had the edge in goaltending. Was Georgiev going to be able to make enough saves for the Colorado Avalanche? And he certainly didn't in tonight's game.
Although ironically, he did it. Drew, I agree with you, but he actually did make some very nice saves in this hockey game.
Right.
At least two or three. No, well, sure, but I mean, it's almost not too little, too late. But I would say that there were a couple of instances where he made a phenomenal save on Cal Connor.
Yeah, and Sean Monahan, I think.
Sean Monahan, he also made a nice save on. Yeah. So again, I'm not lauding anything he was doing, and the Jets fans yelling "pull the goalie" at the Avs bench or chanting that was awesome. It was very funny. Again, it was a very throwback thing.
Percentage, or it was in the seven. I think it was either 700 or even sub 700.
I think when the game came back, and I don't want to be a spoiler alert here, Drew, but when we came back after the first intermission, I think both goaltenders' save percentages were not anything you'd write home about.
Right, and the difference is that the Jets expect Connor Hellebuyck to bounce back, and Connor Hellebuyck himself will say that this wasn't his best performance. Sure. That's frankly the reality of it. It wasn't his best performance, but Alexander Georgiev's save percentage was .696. I mean, that's what his save percentage.
According to our friend Jacob Stoller, only 6 goalies have recorded a worse save percentage in Game 1 of the playoffs. His worse than his .696 save percentage in the last 15 years.
The Jets tied it up. So the Jets' first goal of 7 comes off the stick of Josh Morrissey. And look, there's a lot of traffic in front of Georgiev. So don't get me wrong. There's a lot of traffic. There's a lot of guys, in his way. And it's a real nice play by Mark Schiefele and Kyle Connor in protecting the puck down low working it around. Brendan Dillon gets it off over to Connor, and then Connor and Morrissey are do the sort of the switching of sides on the blue line, and then Morrissey lets the shot go through traffic. But this wasn't what I would describe. It was a seeing eye shot. I think that's what Greg Millen said on the broadcast, and that's the right apt words for it. And it's a shot that the goalie has to fight through to make the save in this instance. And it was almost foretelling of what the Avs goaltending was going to be like, because the Jets, who were struggling to start this game, who were being outshot dramatically, who the ice was tilted heavily against them, get this goal on one of their first few shots of the contest, probably their second shot of the game. Maybe it was their third shot.
I think it was the third.
There you go. So Morrissey at the 8:02 mark, and it's back to being a rocking barn, tied up at 1.
Yeah, and again, like I said, I thought Kyle Connor had a pretty good game overall, and he was, again, we'll talk about.
It wasn't Greg Millen; it was Gary Galley. Yeah, I got my G's confused. It's not Greg Millen; it was Gary Galley.
All right, fair enough. It's very similar names, Drew. So you're not, you don't have to worry about it. But look, it was important, right? You didn't want to let the Avs look. It's 2-0 insurmountable. Had the Avs taken a 2-goal lead? No, but I mean, like I said, this is one of those plays where the Jets are creating a lot of havoc, and their transition was good, and their feet were moving. So it was almost like they got punched in the mouth. They weren't expecting it. I would expect, like I said, you knew Colorado wasn't happy with the 7-0 loss that they suffered at the hands of the Jets. Ironically, we're like, what do we say on the pregame show? No, we won't see 7 goals a game. Oh, no, you're right. We'll see 13 goals in today's game. But I think it's one of those things that you wanted to see the Jets be able to strike back quickly. Yeah. And so within 2 minutes, I think it was a minute 52 maybe, that they were able to get that tying goal by Josh Morrissey. And look, Josh Morrissey is again here, Captain Obvious statement, but what a driver, right? And you can see the emotion after he scores, and how emphatic his celebration was. And it was with good reason. I mean, that was it kind of blew the roof off of this place. Right now it's 1-1 and you're back to even. And you can get something positive going in the building, because the building is brimming with positivity,
right?
But you don't have a goal, and you're down, and you're being outshot 9-1, or I guess 10 or 11-1. And so the fan, credit the fans. No turning, no booing, they weren't upset. They kept the emotion going. But like I said, it could have turned rather quickly, and it didn't. So suddenly you've got a 1-1 game.
Yeah, you have a 1-1 game for only 3 minutes and 55 seconds, though, as the Jets make it 2-1. Vlad Namestnikov, his first of the playoffs. Alex Iafallo with the assist. And this shot and goal is our Seagram shot of the game.
The Seagram shot of the game.
Big thanks to our friends at Seagram's for their continued support of the Illegal Curve post-game show. If you were hitting the bottle while watching tonight's game, nobody could blame you, as long as you do it responsibly, of course. It was a hell of a contest between the Jets and the Avs. Hopefully you washed it all down with some Seagram's 83, Manitoba's #1 whiskey. Jets make it 2-1, as I said. Vlad Namestnikov with the goal. It's a great play by Alex Iafallo. It's not a great play by Josh Manson for the Avs. He's the one who is looking to go make the breakout pass. Iafallo, we know how good of a stick he has. We've heard it all season. We've seen it in action on more than one occasion. In this case, he gets just enough of the pass by Manson, the attempted pass. It goes right into the middle of the ice surface, and Vlad Namestnikov downhill with a head of speed just lasers a shot past Gorgiev, top shelf, to make it 2-1 for the Jets.
Yeah, and it's funny because I had to credit Murat, because I believe he said something about Vlad Namestnikov on our pregame show, scoring some sort of big, instrumental goal. I'm not sure if it would have been, it was the third goal of 13 in tonight's game, but it was definitely, look, the Jets were able to take momentum from that shot by Namestnikov, and a fourth line goal, right? A hardworking goal. Alex Iafallo, I thought he had a really good game. Makes that play, Drew. You're right. Like Josh Manson, I think Josh Manson has a lot of positive, but he also takes away a lot, right? When we saw that, the Jets were able to exploit him a little bit in that 7-0, not a little bit, a lot, and that 7-0 loss.
I'm going to say his name a couple times in tonight's game, and they're not always in the positive sense.
Right,
of the
right,
word
right,
for
right.
him.
Exactly. So I mean, it is but it's a big goal because now, what is it? 3 minutes after or 4 minutes after you tied the game, Vlad Namestnikov, and what a smart player he is. I mean, what a luxury to have a guy like Vlad Namestnikov as your fourth line center, right? So, he's buzzing and he's into it, and the crowd goes bananas because now you got a 2-1 lead.
You do have a 2-1 lead. It doesn't last very long. Again, a theme of the first period and the 6 goals that were scored in the first 20 minutes. It lasts less than 3 minutes, 2 minutes and 50 seconds to be exact. Miles Wood getting his first of the playoffs, assist to Yoel Kiviranta and Ross Colton. And this one is not a good one on the stick of Dylan Samberg. Just trying to do a little too much and a little too soft and a little too cute, as it's a great play by Colton to knock it off of his stick. It goes onto the stick of Kiviranta, and then Miles Wood is there to sort of clean up a little bit of the garbage, outweighting Connor Hellebuyck in this broken play. Dylan Samberg's just got to be a little bit more aware of the circumstances at that point in time. I understand what his mindset is. I understand what he's trying to do, but a little too risky with the play in this one. Great play by the Avs at the same time. Great hard forecheck to force the turnover, but Samberg's got to be a little bit better, I think, in his thought process on this goal.
For sure, and you can see how pissed off he is. He smacks his stick into the glass, but I mean, there were two instances where he has control of the puck and he gives it away, and there's no pressure when, like, the beginning of this play, Drew, there was no pressure. And he's basically just got, he has there's a little bit of pressure, I guess, but you could have dumped it up to Alex Iafallo, who's past the blue line. And then when he retrieves the puck, now look, the Avs are going in on a hard forecheck, so you got to give them credit. But it's just an unfortunate play by, a guy who, even if we've lauded him for being a phenomenal defenseman, and, like I said, Murat talked about his attributes and the gains you've seen in him this season, it's a mistake. And so is it a backbreaking one? No, but it's just a soft play, and Kiviranta intercepts and like I said, gets it over to Miles Wood, who is able to put it through home and past Connor Hellebuyck, and now suddenly it's a 2-2 game. So just one of those, I think that's one of those things that Rick Bowness talked about, the cleaning it up, Drew. So that's probably one of those things that he's like, that's just a play that can't happen. And again, 2 instances where he has opportunities to get rid of that puck, remove it from a dangerous position, and instead he doesn't.
Yeah, and exactly right. It's not a play that the Jets want to make in this instance. It's 2-0. It's 2-2 at this point, and that doesn't last long. That lasts all of 18 seconds as Nathan McKinnon, you knew he was going to get his stuff, and he gets it 18 seconds later to give the Avs the lead back. Assist to Rantanen and Makar, and it's a failed zone exit by the Winnipeg Jets, and the puck gets onto McKinnon's stick. A nice cross ice pass by Rantanen, and Dylan DeMello is trying to defend him, but I think the puck deflects off of DeMello's stick and eludes Connor Hellebuyck to make it 3-2 for the Avs. Again, Jets failed zone exits are going to be such a story in this series. They've been where the Jets run into trouble, I would say, multiple times throughout this season when they can't get the puck out of their own zone. Same for when the Jets score offensively. It's because they are very good at keeping the puck in the opponent's zone. That's what happens here. It doesn't seem like should be a difficult one. Adam Lowry goes for the hard ring around the boards. It looks like Niederreiter is jostled, can't get it out, and that's how it ends up on the stick of McKinnon after the pass by Rantanen to make it 3-2 for the Avs, Dave.
Yeah, and as you said, Drew, it's just 18 seconds later, right? So you're sitting there going, how brutal is that for the Jets? But it's, again, like I said, this one thing about this team, we've seen a lot of resiliency in this group, but it's just an unfortunate set of circumstances for Winnipeg because, again, you've just given up the 2-2 goal, and really the key also is how do you react? How do you respond? And we'll talk about it a little bit later because, this instance, Drew, as you outlined, was not a good response by the Jets, and they get burnt by it. But in a later iteration of a goal that gets scored against them. They were able to kind of respond how they needed to and have a good kind of bounce back shift. But yeah, you're right. This is unfortunate because, again, you don't want to, first of all, of all the players that you don't want to get going, Nathan McKinnon, who was phenomenal. I thought he was like all over the ice. He was dangerous. You could see, I mean, on that play where he blows past Dylan DeMello and then Cale Makar isn't able to bunt that airborne puck past Connor Hellebuyck. But I mean, you can just see how dangerous Nathan McKinnon is, right? But again, one of the things that the Avs did very well was pressure. And as you said, Drew, this is an instance where he's not able to, they're not able, Nino Niederreiter can't clear it when it's along, get it out of the blue line, past the blue line, sorry. And then the Avs are able to turn around quickly in transition and they strike. And so
anytime you have Makar, Rantanen, and McKinnon on the ice together, it's sort of hold your breath and hope you can get through the shift. Because that's the irony for the Avs, or probably what's the most sour taste of it, is that those guys were so good.
Yeah.
Their best players were so good, and yet they still lose the game. Makar was tremendous for the Avs, and we'll get into his goal a little bit. McKinnon was great. Rantanen was great, yet they score 6 and they still lose against they get 6 against the stingiest defensive team in the league. And it's got to be, I know that Jared Bednar struck all the right notes, and the Avs players, we don't have their media because they were still in the dressing room for the media availability. They struck all the right notes, but you know that it still has to be a little bit of a sour taste in scoring 6, playing the way they did, and yet still giving up giving up the lead in the series 1-0 to the Jets. Schiefele, you talk about response, and it wasn't a great response after Wood scored because McKinnon scored 18 seconds later. Well, now the Jets respond, and they respond in a positive manner. 48 seconds after the Avs take the lead, the Jets get it right back. It's Schiefele from Velarde. So Schiefele gets the goal, Velarde gets the assist. It's sort of a shame that Kyle Connor doesn't get an assist here.
That's the play
because this is all Kyle Connor's effort, controlling the puck, cycling the puck, putting it, moving throughout the Av zone, putting it down deep, and then going in on the forecheck and forcing the turnover that allows Velarde to get the puck from behind out to Schiefele in front, and Schiefele being covered by Josh Manson again, but Manson doesn't tie up his stick. So Manson's right next to him, but Scheifele's stick is right there available for Velarde, and Velarde to Schiefele to the back of the net, and it's a 3-3 game after 20 minutes, Dave.
Yeah, and that to me is the play by, again, you're right, absolutely right, Drew. I thought Kyle Connor was excellent. Ties up his man, creates the forecheck. Velarde gets it over to Schiefele, and Schiefele is there, and what a response. And that's what you wanted to see from the Jets. And again, like I said, there was another instance of this later in the game, but it was I think it was important for the Jets to be even after 20 minutes, to have kind of that sort of, wipe the slate clean and just play, an entirely new period. But one of the criticisms of Kyle Connor has been his physicality sometimes in these games. And here's an example of a guy, sure looks like a guy, and one of the things we talked about, when we heard in the media availability, Drew, we didn't hear it, but one of the points that Murat was talking about with us was that idea of the hunger and seeing the guy, the give a shit with this team. And again, that to me was a real prime example of a guy who's playing hungry and he's playing hard. Kyle Connor is not an overly physical player. I know that's a shocking revelation to the folks who have been watching every single Jets game like we do, Drew. But you liked the aggressiveness, the hard forecheck. Like I said, I can't believe I'm saying Kyle Connor with the hard forecheck, but it leads to a puck turnover. And then Gabe Vilardi has just the softest of hands and gets it over to Mark Scheifele, who's not going to make a mistake. And suddenly it's a 3-3 game.
3-3 after 20 minutes. I think everyone needed that final buzzer or sound.
Holy moly.
Just so they could breathe a little bit, just so they could exhale and try and, recalibrate what the hell they just saw for the first 20 minutes of this game. Usually sometimes playoff games, there's a little bit of a feeling out period. Both teams are trying to sort of figure each other out. The Jets and the Avs, of course, have known each other and played each other. They've never played each other in the playoffs. This was not a feeling out period. This was, pardon my turn of phrase here, folks. This was balls to the wall first period with, we were just all action and nobody had an opportunity to even take. If you bought a beer, I don't think you barely had an opportunity to bend down to take a sip of it for fear of missing another goal. But 3-3 for both between the Jets and the Avs, and the Jets are probably happy to escape that period tied, having not really played that well. Yeah, there you go, Mike. Mike K saying you guys recapping this is like a relapse for my heart. We apologize for that. Make sure you have your what is it called?
This one?
Your nitrate oxide or whatever. If you got a little bit of the heart palpitation.
Yeah, my Uncle Benny used to take that.
Yeah, my grandfather, you may rest in peace, always used to have that handy. You know, when the old ticker wasn't ticking so great.
Yeah. We're gonna
4-3.
tinker with your ticker.
There you go. Only one goal in the second period. Adam Lowry gets his first assist to Brendan Dillon and Nino Niederreiter. And it's a 2-on-1. That this is sort of a bit of a broken play in that Niederreiter's stick blocks a shot, then the stick breaks, and it's sort of a bit of chaos at the Jets' blue line, but it ends up getting out of the zone. The Avs are looking for a penalty on this play, but there's no call to be forthcoming. They think it's interference. They think that that there should be an interference call, but there is no call coming, as I mentioned, and the Jets take advantage of it in that they get the goal. Lowry is coming in 2-on-1, and he's looking. I think it's Devon Taves is the defenseman who's back, who's playing pass the whole way, and Lowry just goes right at Georgiev and just goes 5-hole on him. It wasn't the greatest shot that Adam Lowry has ever unleashed. It just looked like Georgiev was so timid and on his heels in trying to stand up to the charging bull that is Adam Lowry, that Lowry's like, okay, I'll just go right through your 5-hole, which seems to be gaping wide open, and the Jets have a 4-3 lead as it happens after 40 minutes, Dave. Yeah, and it's funny because we were almost saying, like, first of all, it was a fantastic period of hockey. Like it was end to end, but it was only one goal. Right. So it was funny, Drew, because we're sitting there going, well, I can't call it low event, the word as he hates, but because it wasn't low event, it was a really entertaining period. And what is it? What's the key really is it starts with the defensive zone faceoff, right? And then there's a bit of an aggressive pinch, and it's amazing that Nino Niederreiter's stick gets a assist on this play because his stick breaks ultimately, but it was a smart play. Stick breaks on the McCarr shot. It's a Cale McCarr shot. Yeah. Yeah. So his broken stick somehow gets an assist, but look, it's a real nice play by them, and good transition, right? Lowry and Appleton plays the what's it called? Plays kind of like the decoy. Yeah. And yeah, I mean, you're right, Drew. Again, it's kind of like this whole idea of where you have just doesn't have it right now. Mm-hmm. And it's shoot it on net. There's a goalie who doesn't have a lot of confidence, right? And you try and almost turn into a bit of a shooting gallery. But yeah, the captain was happy, and let me tell you, the crowd reacted accordingly. They were just a little bit, just a smidge, excited to see 17 get his first of the playoffs, and they were going to get more to celebrate after. But it was it's good. I mean, like, he looked off to Mason Appleton, and then he turns. So it looked like Georgiev should have known that he was shooting, but again, I'm no goalie. I'm not going to pretend to be one. And look, it's enough of a goal to give the Jets a 4-3 lead after 40. And you're like, well, maybe this is serious. This game has calmed down. Maybe there's it's not going to be the outburst we saw in the first period. Maybe this is more what it's going to settle into. But of course, that would be an incorrect assessment if that's the one you made after 40 minutes. It would be an incorrect assessment, but the Jets get that all important insurance marker, and boy, did they need all the insurance markers they could get in that wild and woolly third period. It's amazing. The first period had 6 goals, or 6 goals total. The second period only had the 1 for 7, and then let's go for another 6 goals in the third period. Just it's gonna be a long post-game show, Drew. It's definitely a long post-game show. Lowry, he gets his second of the game on this one. It's assisted to Mason Appleton and Nino Niederreiter, and it starts with the board battle where he just is too much man for Mikko Rantanen to handle. And Lowry just hits him and drops him, and then maybe gives him a bit of a cross check as well. And then the puck is loose, and he comes in and he cuts in front of Alexander Georgiev, and boy, did it look like, was it in? Wasn't it in? He says he knew it was in. It was trickling along the goal line. You can see how close it was to getting over the line, or not getting over the line, to be more exact. It gets behind the goal line and gives the Jets the 5-3 lead. I don't know if you guys, or if anybody in the chat follows, I think it's Art But Make It Sports, I think is the actual
Oh, I've heard of that. Yeah.
It's a great Twitter. Artbutt Sports, at Artbutt Sports. It's a fantastic follow on Twitter. It's a guy who takes basically photos of things that have happened in recent sporting events. The immediacy of that Lowry goal is already there, and then he finds a painting to match it up to, or a piece of art to match it up to, and he already did that one for the Lowry goal. It's available on at Artbutt Sports. I wanted to give them a shout out. And it's 5-3 for the Winnipeg Jets. But Lowry's hit on Rantanen is what starts this whole play. Beast mode, as Elias McCracken says there a little bit, or paraphrasing a little bit in the chat.
There's no question about it. And, we joked about it in the press box that you might need some physics, or a physics degree, or a physics professor at least, to explain to you how that puck managed to go off the post, twist in turn, and then just kind of get over the line. And originally it was weird. It was kind of weird the way it was received here in the building, because it was almost like the refs weren't prepared to call it a goal. Then they called it a goal. The Jets celebrated and the bench celebrated. Then they reviewed it, quick review. And so good on Matt Prefontaine and the Jets video staff for having no, they knew right away that it was a goal. So the Jets were excited. But yeah, I mean, it's a huge goal to start the third period, right? And I can't remember exactly, Drew, what time of the third period. It was 3:31 into the third period that Lowry gets that goal. And, I jokingly tweeted that it's time to give him the Conn Smythe already. But, look, Adam Lowry is leading by example. And we know how difficult this is going to be on him because of the fact that, hey, you've got to go up against one of the best players in the NHL. Okay,
this is the so the left side of the screen here is the puck just over the goal line.
Yes.
And the right side is the painting that it was matched up to, or the piece of art that it was matched up to. So again, a great follow. If you have, I have no interest in art. I don't understand art.
You're a very fancy guy, Drew, with all your art.
Art is not my thing, but if anyone is knowledgeable about art, or just,
it's kind of funny. You look like Drew. You look like that fellow Art Vandelay.
Well, thank you. That's about as close to an art expert as I'm ever going to be. I appreciate the Seinfeld reference there, Dave. But in any event, at Artbutt Sports is a great follow on the Twitter machine.
Okay. Well, let's again, but
we got a lot more goals still to go.
Well, we do have a lot more goals to discuss. But yeah, look, it's a big play by Adam Lowry, and like I said, it's just it's another indication as to why he is the guy who is leading this Jets team, right? And leading them into the fight. And now they've got a 5-3 lead, and they're feeling good about themselves. And like I said, this is there's a lot to discuss on this one. And Mason Appleton, you got to give him credit, and Niederreiter, these guys are, I thought most of the lines played well. Obviously there were some deficiencies, and we'll discuss that when the Avs start to roll back. But remember, two of their goals were on the power play tonight. So, that obviously is a factor. We talked about one of the keys to this game, Drew, and it looked like, actually, I have to say that, before I finish my assessment of the Lowry one, I really thought that the refs did a good job, at least in the first couple of periods, of really kind of putting the whistles away, not making, like, I know Jets fans saw Ehlers get hit and they wanted a penalty, but I thought, that doesn't rise to the level, especially in the playoffs. So I was happy they kind of put it away. But for the most part, like I said, this was a good play by these guys. And Lowry, nothing sums up Adam Lowry more than pulverizing Rantanen. Although I said McKinnon, I think, in our tweet, but it was Rantanen who he pulverized into the boards and gave him the extra shot for extra measure, and then scores a goal. That's the old insult to injury. So big play by the captain, and the Jets have a 5-3 lead. I was talking Moose story in the press box tonight, so I apologize.
Jets make
I was talking about it with
who?
Former Jet Ray Neufeld.
There you go. Jets make it 6-3. So exactly 2 minutes and 20 seconds after they made it 5-3, it's Kyle Connor on the power play. This is with Valeri Nichushkin in the box for elbowing Mark Schiefele. Connor getting his first of the playoffs, assist to Morrissey and Schiefele. And the Jets power play up to this point had been unsuccessful on their previous two opportunities, but they looked good. Yeah. And both lines on the power play actually looked good and had some opportunities. Nikolai Ehlers was doing Ehlers-esque things, dancing around and moving the puck and moving the defense around to get some opportunities on a previous power play. But this one, it's Connor towards the tail end of the power play, getting his first. And just again, it's great puck movement, but it's a shot that needs to be saved in this instance. You're down 5-3 if you're the Colorado Avalanche on the penalty kill. You've almost killed off the entirety of the penalty kill. So the penalty kill is going to be over in 25 seconds. So you're onto the tail end of the power play, and it's a good shot by Connor, but it's short side. So, your Georgiev has to make the save. You can't be beaten short side on this shot by Kyle Connor, but that was what the Jets' mentality had to be, was shoot, because until he can make the saves consistently, there's no reason for us to be looking for the perfect play. And on this one, Kyle Connor, with his great shot, eludes Georgiev for the 6th goal that the Jets have scored in tonight's contest. Assist to Morrissey and Schiefele, and it's 6-3. With about 14 minutes, a little more than 14 minutes to go in the third period, Dave.
Yeah, and he look, Georgiev obviously has to pay attention. He's got Sean Monahan in front, and he's got Gabriel Velarde at the side of the net. And we saw those guys execute a number of chances that were silky smooth, I would put it. And Drew, I think it's worth noting that I think it was the second power play for the Winnipeg Jets, the power play 2 unit came on, and they were great. And they didn't score, but they sure looked good in that. I think it was in the second period, and they created a lot of chances. And they played, what did they play? Like almost, I think, a minute 26 or something along those lines in terms of their but they deserved it. They created a lot of chances, although it was amazing. I think they only had the one shot on net, the Josh Morrissey shot, but or not Josh Morrissey, but I think the only shot on net came from Josh Morrissey, but they really had nice control. And here's another example, right? And you're right. Like, look, I wonder if Georgiev is cheating a little bit. In anticipation that it's going to be a pass by Kyle Connor to Monahan in front or to Velarde at the side of the net. But yeah, I think you're right. He probably needed to have that one, and now suddenly you're falling behind now 6-3, and from a Jets perspective, there's only 8:54 left, or that was 8:54 into the third. Sorry, but. 5:51.
No, 5:51. So there's 14 minutes to go in the game. Can the question is, yes. The question is from the Jets' perspective is, can they begin to shut this down? They're up 6-3. You've got the sizable lead. Can you shut it down? Can you get to that tight checking style that it was so successful with? And frankly, they couldn't. And a lot of that has to do, of course, with the penalties, because the Avs' dangerous power play, was a key factor here. But that's just, again, something else the Jets can build upon, from tonight's game, is they have to be able to, when they get a lead like this, they have to find a way to just sort of stranglehold the game and end the game and make it so that they can get away with an easy victory rather than it end up in the 7-6 contest like it happened tonight.
By the way, is it just, sorry, Drew, but that line by Rick Bowness was very funny when he was asked about having fun.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, that's not the kind of game I'm having fun with.
There's no fun here at all. There's no fun for a ref there, for a coach there. It's more about, I think, heart palpitations and antacids at that point in time. Arturi Lehkonen makes it 6-4, his first goal, assist to Cale Makar and Nathan McKinnon. It's a great tip by Lehkonen, and Makar with the great shots to allow Lehkonen for the tip. And I believe it is Rantanen in front, causing all sorts of chaos on this one. And had it been a closer game or a different situation, maybe the Jets challenged, but I think that not challenging was the right decision here. Any contact was initiated, I believe, by Connor Hellebuyck coming outside of his blue paint, and Rantanen being in a good position to provide some chaos and provide a screen. And that's a good power play goal. The Avs power play is a dangerous one. The Jets don't want to get into trouble. This was Mason Appleton taking a roughing penalty, what I would describe as a bit of an undisciplined roughing penalty in this case, gave the Avs back to within 2 goals at 6-4. You're on mute. You're still on mute. There you go.
Now I know. I was coming back. I was trying to do 2 different things, tweet and this and that. But look, this is an instance where you don't want to give that Avs, like you said, Drew. It's a little bit of an unfortunate roughing penalty by Mason Appleton.
Yeah.
And the Avs are too good. We've talked about it. They're too good on the power play. And even though if their power play slipped a little bit, there's too many weapons. I mean, there's too many weapons for this team to not be able to find, that just a beautiful tip. and Connor Hellebuyck doesn't really have a chance, and he falls, but it's well after. And so
it's after the puck in that. I agree.
Yeah, and we did wonder if there would be any consideration, but I think it was the right decision by Rick Bowness, and he likes to have his goalies back, and I wondered if Connor Hellebuyck would lobby a little bit more, but it's just a good play by the Avs, and again, too many dangerous weapons. So if you're the Jets, one of the areas you're going to have to clean up, though, for sure, is not taking penalties against this team, because they are just too lethal on the power play, and your PK isn't good enough to really defend against it, even though it has improved.
It has improved, but you still don't want to give him the opportunity. So 6-4 at this point in time. 2 minutes and 25 seconds later, I promise you, folks, we're getting close. We're at goal 11, goal 11 of 13. So we're getting close to the end. Kyle Connor, his second assist to Gabe Vilardi and Mark Schiefele. And it's, again, the Jets are getting to, they're winning puck battles. They are winning on the high-low plays. And Kyle Connor is in a soft spot in the middle of the ice, and both Josh Manson and Arturi Lehkonen are right there with him, and they don't tie up his stick. I mean, it's just simple, really simple plays that the Avs are not executing on. Credit to the Jets. It's a clean zone entry. It's a clean zone exit from their own zone, a clean zone entry. They transition the puck up with speed. I think it's Vilardi who takes the initial shot, if I'm not mistaken, and then the Jets go and they do the puck retrieval game.
No, Connor took the shot.
Connor took the original shot as the Jets gained the zone, and then Schiefele and Vilardi go and they retrieve the puck, and it's Vilardi from behind the net to Kyle Connor. And again, you have Lehkonen and you have Manson literally right next to him. There's not a lot of room there for Kyle Connor to let loose that shot, but it's on his stick and off his stick so quickly, almost using the momentum of the pass to his advantage to get more on the shot, and it makes it 7-4 for the Winnipeg Jets. But just another soft defensive play by Josh Manson, by Lehkonen, by the Avs in a game that was filled with soft defensive plays by the Colorado Avalanche and by the Jets to some extent too.
Yeah, we're going to be keeping it honest, Drew. We got to make sure that both look. First of all, you got to mention that Gabriel Vilardi, nice play by him to make sure he stayed on side.
Yes, I was wondering if there was going to be a challenge there.
And that was a really nice play by him. Again, presence of mind. You just talk about Vilardi and how smart he is and what a smart player he is. So that's a key play, because of course if he goes offside, it's no goal. But he managed to do it. I think it's funny how they showed Arvid Holm sitting there, and you're like, okay, it's 7-4. Are they gonna make a change here? But I like the fact that Schiefele. I know that folks didn't want to see this line together. I know that folks wanted to see the Schiefele with the Ehlers, but. And that line, the Monahan, Ehlers, and Toffoli line, they certainly had their chances. Although Toffoli is not going to be winning any races, because there's one play in the second period where Toffoli, the puck kind of went up. Toffoli, if he's a younger man, a faster man, he probably
isn't his game. Yeah,
that's definitely not his game. He's more of an intelligent player. But this was just a nice play by Mark Schiefele to kind of shoulder check, see where Vilardi was, and then they just read off of each other so well. And Drew, you can't call this soft ice. It wasn't soft ice for Kyle Connor. He's in and amongst it, but he's still so good, and it recognizes an opportunity. So it's a really nice pass. It's a really nice, kind of a chip shot by Kyle Connor. And now he's got 2 goals on the playoff season, I should say. And the Jets have themselves a 7-4 lead. So you're like, all right, let's do this. Although I will admit, because Judy Owen, who writes for the CP, she's pulling her hair out because, of course,
she got deadlines,
and she's writing this game story, and it's all going haywire. And I just kind of jokingly said, well, Judy, don't worry. It's going to go to overtime anyway. So we'll see what happens. And it was not that far off.
Bite your tongue when you say that. It's funny you mentioned the forward lines. The only Jets forward line that at 5-on-5 had a positive expected goals for was Connor, Schiefele, Vilardi, and they outscored the Avs 3-1 at 5-on-5, which is a huge factor for the Winnipeg Jets and their success rate. So again, 5-on-5 play for the Jets tonight was certainly stellar. So it's now 7-4 for the Winnipeg Jets. The Avalanche do not go away. Kale McCarr on the power play. What a laser. yeah, what an absolute laser this one is. This is with Dylan DeMello in the box for tripping. Makar on the power play. It's an unassisted goal at the 12:24 mark, and it's 7-5 for the Jets over the Colorado Avalanche. And again, everyone wants the party to be going on. Everyone wants it to be a celebratory final 7-8 minutes, but it's not necessarily going to be so easy for the Winnipeg Jets as the Avs continue to battle back. Makar on the power play, just a howitzer of a shot.
Well, and the most interesting thing, Drew, is the fact that just before the penalty on DeMello, they actually kind of scored.
I mean, the
I
whistle
thought that-
blew for the delayed penalty, but it was close.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, I thought it was a little close. And so, I mean, again, like I only saw it live, and then they didn't really, of course, show a replay here because they didn't want to give the Avs any more incentive to challenge or anything. But it was just interesting because they kind of put the puck in the net, and you're thinking, okay, well, here you go. And then, yeah, look, it's just an unfortunate bounce for the Jets because you make the block and then it goes right to Makar. And again, Lehkonen, you got to give him credit because he was noticeable in this game, and he's standing in front, taking away Connor Hellebuyck's eyes. And so it's Josh Morrissey had that seeing eye shot. This was also very much a seeing eye shot. So suddenly now it's a 7-5 game, and you're like, okay, well, what's going to happen here? Because again, there's still quite a bit of time left. There was 7.5 minutes to go in the game.
There were 7.5 minutes to go of the game, and the Avs pulled the goalie, and with about 3.5, maybe 4 minutes to go in the game.
Yeah, about 3:20, I think it was.
There you go. They pulled the goalie, and so they're pressing, and the Jets do a pretty good job of keeping everything to the outside. While the Colorado had some zone time. They had a lot of zone time.
Dave driving Ken. He's driving back to ND.
There you go. Keep going, Ken. We great. To
Ken, don't worry. We'll still be doing the game recap for another 5 hours.
Great to see Ken. He was at City Place for the pregame show, so that's terrific that he drove up from North Dakota for this evening's Jets Avalanche game. The Jets, I thought they did an admirable job keeping everything to the outside for the most part. Now, the Avs had some chances, but the Jets were pretty good with their structure, and it didn't get away from them. And really, if not for, Sean Monahan almost wins it into the empty net, deflected, I think, off of Cale Makar's skate and went just wide. And then eventually, again, they're sort of emblematic of the chaos and the crazy goals that were being scored in tonight's game. The final one of the game, the 13th goal of the game, Casey Middlestat, his first assist to Arturi Lehkonen and Mikko Rantanen with 30 seconds to go in the game. And it's funny, I'm looking at NHL.com where they have a description of all the different goals, and it's wrist shot, slap shot, wrist shot, wrist shot, wrist shot, wrist shot, wrist shot, slap shot, tip in, snap shot, wrist shot, and bat shot. So that is how they describe the final goal in tonight's game, a bat shot by Casey Middlestat that I think went off of 3 different elbows, 2 shoulders, maybe a helmet or 2, and finally inches its way over the goal line. But it's cutting into the Jets lead a little bit more, but the Jets do hold on and ultimately take home a wild and wacky and just absolutely exhausting game 1 by that 7-6 margin, Dave.
Yeah, and look, it's a little too late for the Avs, but the Jets, I mean, could have had a couple of opportunities to clear that puck. And yeah, Drew, you're right. It was just very bizarre because it was like Plinko. Went off this, went off this, went off this, went off this. And then, Middlestat just kind of chips it up and over, and then hits Brendan Dillon in the shoulder. And it was funny because we're watching it from upstairs, and that's right underneath where we are in the press box. There's so many folks right now. We're moved a little bit farther down from our usual kind of blue line, but that gives us a good angle for goals.
Hey, right. All the national guys have arrived in Winnipeg, and they're going to pretend they know what's going on about the Jets after they ignored them for the first 82 games of the season.
Yeah, it's true.
Here's a clue in, folks. And I don't mean this to denigrate these guys. Follow the people you followed all season. They're the ones who actually know this team. That's just what I would say. Whether it's us, whether it's Ken, whether it's Mike, whether it's Ted, whether it's Scott, whether it's Freezer, who covers this team night in, night out. Listen to those voices more than the people who parachute in for the playoffs.
Oh, Drew.
I'm just telling you, I mean, that's just being honest. I mean, and that's not just a Winnipeg thing. That's true about all the markets. The local guys are the guys who are living and breathing this day in and day out. Corey Massasak doing it for the Denver Post. Megan Angley doing it for DNVR Avalanche. She's been on the show before. Corey Massasak has been on the show before as well. follow the people who do it night in and night out. Those are the ones who are really going to give you the pulse of their various teams.
Well, I mean, I think that's fair for sure. Look, it's always good to hear new voices and to get, John Buccigross is in town for the first time in Winnipeg, so he got a chance to call the game for ESPN. So you get some new voices. It's always interesting to hear what folks have to say and their impressions of, our fair city. But yeah, I mean, I don't disagree. As people who live and breathe this and cover this on a daily basis on the website illegalcurve.com, of course, your source for all the latest Jets and Moose news. Not doing any Moose minutes tonight. Well, actually, I could. Moose did play last. No. The Moose did. Moose
it was
did
a
play
meaningless
last night.
game. No,
it wasn't a meaningless game though, because something happened with Brad Lambert and Colby Barlow.
They scored.
I might have to. Do a little. I'll do a small one after the break. We'll talk. There's a lot of people still in the chat, so if folks let Drew know that you want to hear a Manuk Moose minute, and then we'll do that after.
Keep it to a minute. Keep it to a minute.
Hey, I did yesterday. Did I not? I was a man of my word. So yeah. But the folks want to hear something about the Jets of tomorrow today.
There you go. So the Jets ultimately win 7-6 over the Colorado Avalanche. They lead the series 1-0. Game 2, Tuesday night. It's an 8:30 puck drop, which means the Illegal Curve pregame show, which I hope you all enjoyed earlier this evening. The Illegal Curve pregame show on our YouTube, on our social media, and live in person at City Place, the second floor. It was a great setup there.
Nice to meet so many people who came and said hello.
To see so many people come by and say hello and give us a wave and show off their Illegal Curve merch, like the guy who
that was awesome.
Jets jersey and was wearing IC gear underneath.
Love
there. That was terrific. We'll be there 6:30 p.m. on Tuesday night for game 2 between the Jets and the Avalanche. Illegalcurve.com, of course, has all your latest and our YouTube channel and all of our social media platforms. So we'll go to break because we've gone an hour and 20 minutes without taking a breath, sort of like this game was for a long period of the time. So we'll go to break. We'll come back. We'll talk a little bit more about the Jets and the Avs. We'll let Dave do a little bit of Moose talk, and we'll get you a little bit previewed up for game 2 on Tuesday night, and then we'll let you all get on with your Sunday evenings. Don't go anywhere. It's the Illegal Curve post-game show. Drew Mindell, Dave Manuk, Jets won 7-6, lead the series 1-0. Don't go anywhere. You guys ever wish for a game changer in life?
Like finding out your favorite snack has 0 calories?
Or discovering the mute button on Ezzy?
Picture this, a secret weapon for parking where you can book a spot a whole month in advance.
Tell me more, Drew.
Pre-book your parking at really low rates, or maybe even for free if you use the code IllegalCurve.
Free? What is this, sorcery?
The Grid Park app. It's a real secret weapon that has affordable game day parking, and to sweeten the deal even more,
I love sweets.
Our listeners can use the code IllegalCurve to park for free.
Holy Zamboni.
Tell me about it. Just download Grid Park, GRYD Park, and use the code IllegalCurve, all one word, to park for free. Whoa, Ezzy, everything okay? You look stressed.
Of course I'm stressed. We're moving, the house is upside down, the kids failed miserably at packing the fine china, and my life is in chaos. Chaos!
Yes, that does sound like a problem.
What am I going to do?
Ezzy, relax. Rolly's Transfer Moving and Storage is the answer. With 60 years of experience in moving Manitobans and a track record of exemplary customer service, one call to Rolly's and your stress is gone. No job is too big or too small. Just visit Rollies.com and they will take it from there.
Thanks, Dave, and thank you, Rollies Transfer Moving and Storage, online at Rollies.com.
Your coworkers love you because you always make them laugh. You're the life of the party with stories that have them rolling on the floor. Or maybe you're just the quiet one in the corner with the one-liners that just slay. Do you have what it takes to become Winnipeg's funniest person with a day job? Try your luck. Hit the stage at Rumors Comedy Club, and you could be walking away with $1,000 cash. Winnipeg's funniest person with a day job. Presented by Rumors. For all the details, head to rumorscomedyclub.com.
The game can change just like that. Accidents happen when you aren't protected. So now what? Getting to your injury quickly can make all the difference. Help prevent them from being game changers with Linden Market Dental Center. bonding, crowns, bridges, and dental implants. State-of-the-art treatments are available to help you get back in the game. To learn more, visit lindenmarketdentalcenter.com. Creating smiles for life.
It's all over, folks, and the run has come to an end.
You're so far away.
A Canadian team hasn't won the Cup in over 30 years.
And the Cup will stay south of the border.
Maybe it's time we try something different. This playoff season, let's cheer with the fans we've always cheered against. Team up for the Cup at Boston Pizza.
For 3 generations and over 80 years, Tough Duck has been making apparel that works and plays as hard as the people who wear it. From jackets to work boots and everything in between, Tough Duck's clothing can handle the harshest environments, even the illegal curve hockey show. Work to live, live to play. Visit toughduck.com. Welcome back to the Illegal Curve post-game show. Sorry, folks, I was listening to Cale Makar, and I don't think he meant this as a slam on the Avalanche goaltender, Alexander Georgiev. I think it's just the way it came out. But the quote, and it's this is courtesy of Guerrilla Sports, who they cover the Colorado Avalanche. Quote: "Unfortunately, all the mistakes that we made ended up in the back of our net." So that's Cale Makar speaking post-game about the Avs game. It's part of a longer answer, so I don't want that to be, that I'm sort of cutting and pasting just a bit. You can go to @Guerrilla Sports and hear his entire post-game comments, but that's the line that stuck out to me, that unfortunately all the mistakes that we made ended up in the back of our net. And the Avs are going to need better goaltending. The Jets are going to need better goaltending too. There's no question that Connor Hellebuyck wasn't at his best tonight, but an interesting point by our buddy Scott Billick, who talks about the performance of Connor Hellebuyck wasn't at his best, but he did make 36 saves on 39 shots at 5-on-5. That's a .923 save percentage.
Yeah.
So at 5-on-5, if the Jets are getting a .923 save percentage at 5-on-5, that's usually where they want to be. Of course, the two power play goals did hurt the Jets tonight, but certainly if you got to pick which goalie they need, their team needs more from, Georgiev needs to be way better for the Avalanche, and Connor Hellebuyck, I think, will himself admit that he probably wants to be better for the Jets as well.
Yeah, and look, it's not a bad thing if you have more motivated Connor Hellebuyck. He had his dad. We saw Chuck Hellebuyck making his way to Winnipeg today, so he had his dad in the crowd. But I mean, yeah, you allow 6 goals against and you win the game. So I mean, you put it behind you, and the coaching staff we know is not going to be happy for giving up 6. But Drew, what do we talk about? Don't give up power plays against the Colorado Avalanche, because your PK isn't good enough for this to be something that you can have happen, and you gave up, too many goals with the man advantage. So don't allow that, because like you said, there was obviously two power play goals and the 6-on-5 goals. So unfortunate in that regard. But yeah, Connor Hellebuyck made some big saves, and you wonder. Look, the Avs don't really have an answer, right? You've got illness obviously impacting one. Arvid Holm, who he was a serviceable AHL goaltender to a certain degree, but he's not your answer, I don't think.
No. You have to write until Annanen's healthy, and who knows when that's going to be, as Jared Bednar didn't know when Eustace Annanen is going to be healthy. He's a rookie. I mean, he hasn't played a lot of hockey. So right now there is no other option for the Avs. So they have to keep.
Well, they knew this.
Books.
Joe Sakic, who I saw today in the press box, and I was like, Burnaby Joe, how's it going? But the point is that
he said, River Heights Dave, how's it going?
Did not, but he actually said, how'd you get in here? But no, I mean, look, it's there's no question that you needed to see, you'll need a better effort from both goaltenders. You're not going to want to see a 7-6 game from, fans probably, again, we talk about all the heart palpitations. They're probably happy that the Jets, of course, came out on the right side of that score. And I suspect if Jets fans are going to want to see anything for the next 15 wins, if they can get that, it'll be a little more controlled than that. But hey, you want to track meet with, let's not forget, they played more of a Colorado game, right? Because the
Mhm.
Colorado Avalanche are the highest scoring team in the NHL.
Right.
The Jets are the stingiest team, or they were. Not in the playoffs. In the playoffs, they don't worry about being stingy. You can't win the William Jennings in the playoffs. So not the stingiest team that we saw. You know the Avs are going to get their chances. The Jets just need to make sure that they limit and continue to play their game.
No question about it. Before we go to the Manitoba Moose Minute, I want to make a mention. Steven Schneider gave us $5. So as we do on this show, we say thank you very much. It's totally unnecessary. But when you do give us money, we do like to highlight your comment and highlight you and appreciate you for having done so. So Steven did this earlier in the broadcast. We've been busy here recapping 13 goals and bringing you all the post-game media. But I did want to say a big thank you to Steven for doing so.
Just going to I just want to quickly update because Rob asked me, he said, I thought it was Garden City Dave. No. First of all, it would be West K Dave. That's my neck of the woods. But no, I've sold out now. I'm in River Heights. But back in the day, I was West K Dave. That was my my hood, if you will.
There you go. Manitoba Moose
Goldona Cougars.
Put on your antlers. It's time for the Manitoba Moose Minute on the Illegal Curve Hockey Show.
I was also a Sinclair Park Sabre and a Vince Lee Sting, just to round it out. No big deal, City Champs.
I was a Sir John Franklin Explorer. Does that count for anything?
No. Soft South Ender. I don't think so. Anywho, Moose.
When we were Sir John, they didn't have an indoor rink. I had to play outdoors. I had to walk uphill both ways to school.
With the ball and a stick. Anywho, Moose playing their final regular season game of the season last night in Texas. And of course, like I said, they obliterated Texas Stars 8-3 on Friday night. So they're wondering how's it going to go for them in the rematch, which again was a concluding game of the season. Oskari Salminen, he left the game after 15:32 of the first period. I didn't see anything obvious. I know I already talked about this, but he gave up 2 goals and 7 shots. I wasn't sure if it was a pull, but then the team announced that they signed Brent Beauchou to a PTO. So he's, Thomas Milic is the man. He was the guy who got the start. And the Moose chose to rest some guys, Christian Reichel, Jeff Malott, and Kyle Capobianco. And after getting the night off, Brad Lambert, Nikita Chibrikov were back in. So the Moose down 1-0 during the first period, but CJC's back in the fold. He ties the game with his 10th of the season. Nice shot by him. Really nice. We talked about Dylan Anhorn, who signed out of St. Cloud State, the left shot defenseman who chose the number 47, perhaps in honor of Declan Chisholm, perhaps because that was probably the only one available. But he made a real nice play, showed that he probably is wearing that number for a good reason. So he gets his first point in the pros in his second game. He sets up Carson Golder for a one-timer to give the Moose a 2-1 lead. Thomas Milic ended up playing 40 minutes in the game. He made 22 saves on 23 shots. And then again, gave Brent Beauchou, the third period, and he only faced 6 shots. The goal that I need to highlight, though, Drew, because it was a highlight reel goal, was Brad Lambert. He got his 21st of the season, and it was an absolute beauty. And if you didn't see it, of course, it's highlighted on our Illegal Curve Instagram. Make sure you're following that, or on my account, IC Dave. But he just roofs it to make it a 3-1 game. And he would finish with the most points because he was tied, I believe, with Jeff Malott at 54. Well, he ends up with 55, 21 goals, 34 assists in 64 games for the 2022 first rounder of the Winnipeg Jets. That's good enough for second in AHL rookie points. And he finished second on the all-time Moose rookie points list, moving past his countryman, Sami Niku. Falls short of the 66 in 76 that Mason Appleton put forward in the 2017-18 season. And then to add some extra prospect news, Colby Barlow, he took a blast on the power play, and it didn't really hit the net, actually hit AJF, and it went in off of him. So the Moose win 4-1, and they're cruising, and Texas is reeling a bit. And of course, they're going to stay in Texas. The Moose sent out their schedule. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but game 1 of their best of 3 play-in series starts on Tuesday night, which of course is right when the Jets game is, but their game starts at 7. So you get a little Moose flavor, a little appetizer, and then change it to the Jets main course. And of course, I will have eyes on both games, keeping you up to date, and we'll bring you all that on the Illegal Curve post-game show for game 2.
There you go. Dave M, as only he can, with the quick version of the Manitoba Moose Minute.
that
The
was
Moose
quick.
playoffs underway, so we'll cover those as well as we do here on Illegal Curve. We'll wrap up the post-game show with the Tough Duck hardest hitting comment.
The Tough Duck hardest hitting comment.
Big thanks to our friends at Tough Duck and all of our sponsors for their continued support of the Illegal Curve post-game show. They also are a key contributor to the Illegal Curve pre-game show, which of course will be next at you on Tuesday night, as we are going to be back at City Place at 6:30 p.m., getting you set for Game 2 between the Jets and the Colorado Avalanche. The Tough Duck hardest hitting comment goes to Elias McCracken. Seriously, though, Adam Lowry could be the guy that carries this team physically, emotionally, and steady like a captain should through these playoffs. Adam Lowry certainly was a driving force for the Winnipeg Jets in tonight's game. He scored 2 goals. He laid out a number of significant body checks. He was noticeable. He was physical, and he was very significant for the Winnipeg Jets for being successful in tonight's contest against the Colorado Avalanche. A 7-6 Winnipeg Jets victory. They lead the series 1-0.
All right, so we got a special guest appearance.
Who's that?
Weber.
Good evening. Good evening. Well done. Thank you for taking us right to the bottom of the hour. That's perfect timing as usual. Send the raid over, Drew. Thank you.
Oh, there you
Great
go.
job as usual by the Curves.
Thank you, Kenny. In that case, that's our cue for letting us know that
Time to
Kenny
go.
and Rennie are getting started with their version of the post-game show. With that in mind, Elias, send me an email, drew@illegalcurve.com. Slide into my DMs at ICDrew. We're going to hook you up with a Tough Duck trucker hat. It's not a toque because it's 18 degrees outside and there was a beautiful day. So, Elias, Tough Duck trucker hat coming your way. Send me an email, drew@illegalcurve.com. What a day. Whoo, baby. From the pregame show through the game to the post-game show and much more to come, of course, on the website, illegalcurve.com. A big thank you to all the sponsors of Illegal Curve who make the post-game show, the Saturday show, the pre-game show, and the website a possibility. Our friends at City Place. Reminder, Tuesday, 6:30 p.m. We're back on the second floor in the food court for Game 2 pre-game show between the Jets and the Avalanche. Our friends at Rumors Restaurant and Comedy Club. TJ Miller is coming to Winnipeg Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. The shows on Thursday, both shows Friday, both shows Saturday are all sold out. They've added a special show Thursday night. So there's no game on Thursday, of course. So if you'll be looking for something to do, a later show on Thursday night. If you didn't get a chance to see TJ Miller and get your tickets for him, check out rumorscomedyclub.com and you can get tickets to see TJ Miller. Our friends at Grid Park. You got to use Grid Park to park downtown when you got the chaos that is going on around the rink. Grid Park makes your life easy, and so be sure to use Grid Park and use code Illegal Curve. Linden Market Dental Center, Zappia Group Realty, Tough Duck. They are giving away the Tough Duck hardest hitting comment. Boston Pizza, of course, our friends at Boston Pizza. Friday night, Game 3, Illegal Curve watch party and live on location post-game show. It's going to be a late one. 9 o'clock is puck drop. We're going to be at Boston Pizza on Taylor Avenue. Come join us. As Spency knows, it's Fish Bowl Friday. So join us for some fish bowls, some Jets action, and then the Illegal Curve post-game show. Friday, Game 3 between the Jets and the Colorado Avalanche. Our friends at Seagram's, Rolly's Transfer are key contributors to this show. We thank everybody. And of course, the Rady JCC Sports Dinner coming up in May. We're a proud media sponsor of that. You heard from Wendell Clark 2 Saturdays ago on this show. Hopefully, we're going to get Dougie Gilmore on coming up in the next couple of weeks. Grant Fear is coming to town as well. All the information about that available at radyjcc.com. Support all of these fine businesses. They help support Illegal Curve Hockey. They make the show a possibility. You all make this show a possibility by sticking around here and coming with us and watching us and coming to City Place and liking our tweets and leaving us feedback and subscribing. And, of course, telling your friends, telling your family the best place to be before each Jets home game, after each Jets game, and again on Saturday mornings is the Illegal Curve YouTube channel. Jets win 7-6. lead the series 1-0. IllegalCurve.com for all your latest Jets news, Moose news, audio on the YouTube channel, video on the YouTube channel, everything under the sun. For Dave Manook, I'm your host, Drew Mandel. Until Tuesday night at 6:30 p.m., we wish you good night and good luck. Head over to Kenny and Rennie. Thanks for watching the Illegal Curve post-game show.